Hi, Lily. I'm going to try to go over Wednesday's assignment with you just through this video. So you can pause it sort of as you go, or if you still have questions afterwards, then just email me, or we can try to set up a Google Meet maybe tonight or tomorrow, okay? Or Monday perhaps. So first thing, on Wednesday's assignment, so you should be in W5, week 5, Wednesday, W, organizing the periodic table. And we always use these slides. And so on your assignment, I say that we're using slides 36 through 45. So I'm just going to scroll down to slide 36. 36. There we go. Oh, sorry. It's supposed to be 34. My bad. Okay, so this was sort of what people did as they entered in. And so isotope notation, here it is. And it looks, I promise, more confusing than it is. So all it is an isotope is just like a different version or a different type of that element. It has the same number of protons. So it has the same number of protons, which means that it's the same element. So if we think about like hydrogen, then if hydrogen has one proton, which is its atomic number, is 1, then everything that has one proton has to be hydrogen. But the sort of interesting thing is that hydrogen can have different neutrons. And so this is sort of how we tell, okay, well, how do we tell something apart if it's all hydrogen, if it all has the same name? And this is called isotopic notation. And it's just a way to write the isotopes down so that you can tell like the different forms of that apart. So here you put the chemical symbol. So for hydrogen, I would write a giant H. And then next to it, you put two different numbers. So one is the mass number, the atomic mass goes on top, the atomic number goes on bottom. So one of your assignments was to, here, I'll show you, it's right here in formative. And it was to do isotope notation for these elements. So we'll do this one first. So this is phosphorus. Its atomic mass is 30.9, but I'm going to round that up to 31. 31, because it's got to be a whole number. And its atomic number is 15. So if I go here, and I like to do it just this way so I can draw. So first I'm going to draw a P, okay? And then once I have a P, so normally on your periodic table tile, it would be phosphorus, and there would be a 15 on top and that 30.9 on bottom. But on isotope notation, instead of that, it's actually, we're going to flip the numbers. So it has a 15 goes on bottom and then a 31 on top. And so that 31 stands for the protons plus the neutrons. And that 15 stands for the protons, the number of protons we have. Okay? Now I'm going to leave this example up, but you might want to do like beryllium, for instance. So you would write Be over here. And then next to beryllium, you have a 4 down on bottom. A 4 is the atomic number. And then a 9 goes on top of 4. And then that's it. That's all you have to show. So the next thing is which I don't know if you have your periodic table at home. If you have your periodic table at home, then you can just kind of ignore this. This was like a digital way to color the periodic table. And so for everyone in class, what happened is we like numbered across our periodic table. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then also down to the bottom, and we talked about how the groups are the top. The groups tell you how many valence electrons, and the periods are the rows. Periods are rows. The periods tell you how many orbitals or how many shells. And then we sort of separated each family. So there's different families or different groups on the periodic table, and it kind of depends on which column they're in, which family they belong to. So this first one's the alkali metals. Now, you don't have to memorize these families. You don't have to memorize the families. All you really need to do is just sort of color code a periodic table. Hopefully you have yours at home, but if not, then you can do it on this one. Oops, let's get out of this. But you don't have to memorize it. It's just that each family has certain special things about it, and it helps to have a periodic table in front of you that is sort of color coded in order to take your quiz or your test. So we get to use our periodic table on our quizzes and tests. And while taking it, it really helps to have one that is filled out with the information that you can kind of use. So here's some of the information. Basically, you want to make it look like this one. So you want to have it by family. So it's color coded by family. There's a staircase in the middle. This was one of your questions. I think I might just send it in your email too. I think I have it here. Okay, so the staircase here kind of drawn to the side. Everything to the right side is a non-metal, and everything to the left is a metal. So if you decide to color this periodic table, here's what you need to do. So you click on it because it's a drawing. You go to edit. And then once you're in edit, you can insert a shape, like a rectangle or something. And you essentially just make it like that whole column. And so this column is the noble gases, and I'm going to color them, according to my slides, I color them purple. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to color them, just really any color of purple is okay. But wait, it's not really transparent. So I have to go to custom and I have to go like this. Again, this becomes way easier if you have your periodic table at home. If not, just try it this way. Let me know how it goes. If it's too much, then maybe you could just use a different thing. Okay. And then last but not least is these characteristics of the periodic table. So this was just sort of some notes that we took. So I did this first one. So the families on the periodic table, they're these. And basically, actually, let's just fill this out here. So I'm going to fill this out, and then you can kind of use it to refer to. So the vertical columns on the periodic table are called groups. The horizontal rows on the periodic table are called periods. Most of the elements on the periodic table are classified as metals. The elements that touch the zigzag line are called metalloids. That means they're kind of like a metal and kind of not. They're sort of like a hybrid, somewhere in between. The elements on the right side are classified as nonmetals. Elements in the first group are extremely reactive. They're called alkali metals. So this is one of our family names. Elements in the second group are called alkaline earth metals. Elements in 3A through 12A have many useful properties and are called transitional metals. Elements in group 7 are known as the halogens. And then finally, elements in group 8 are very unreactive, and they are said to be noble gases. Noble gases, okay? So these are just our groups, our information just from, again, these slides here, these like 3 or 4 slides right here. So it talks about each family, what it is. So groups 3 through 12 was this orange. Those are the transition metals. That's how I can refer back to that. And then finally, I just had them fill out this table. So you have like some missing information. So for bromine, you would want to write the symbol for bromine. And then you would want to write it's in group 7, which means it's in column 7. And then what period is it found in? Okay. And I wrote that bromine is a non-metal. So for the rest of them, you might want to just fill in the blanks, what group and what period that corresponds to what column and what row. Is it to the left of the staircase or to the right of the staircase? That's how you know if it's a metal or non-metal. And then the element name and symbol you should be able to find. Okay, and then that is it, sweetie. So the thing that you're submitting is the formative, the rest of that chart. And then if you have your periodic table to color at home, go ahead and do that. Periodic table coloring is really more about you having a periodic table that you can use. So you can skip this if you do not have your periodic table with you. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions.